with that, I'd like to turn it over to Magid Nosshi, who is a good longtime friend and a member of the Kansas Consortium at the Land Institute, doing his PhD work here at the Land Institute. Welcome, Magid.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, and beautiful day. Mine is much less of a report than a detour, and nobody checked my notes before they sent me up here. So, if I may, and part of the reason is for not sharing too much is not to be secretive or anything. We just don't have our analyses and results quite yet, but I'd like to maybe take a couple of steps back and talk about the first time I got here, and that was over 16 years ago. I came up here in a van full of students and Tim. One thing I remember from that Prairie Festival was a presenter who talked about cutting down eucalyptus forest and what happens when you switch that to wheat. Regional scale changes in hydrology and eventually water table levels changing and new challenges with salinization buildup. And maybe this sat with me for two reasons. Salt is not an unfamiliar problem for Egypt, where I come from, but also this idea of vegetation being such a control in an ecosystem, and providing this type of regulation seems fascinating to me, which has a lot to do with why I'm here. A big deal for me about the work that's done at the Land Institute is it's not shy to ask more of agriculture. And specifically, and in more dry terms, I'm thinking about ecological function, a lot of the things Tim mentioned. So I'll say very briefly just what we had set out to do, and I think my time's about up conveniently. The question was, how does composition drive ecosystem function? If you look at a mixture versus a single species, does that play out in terms of function? And in your mind, function can be so many different things. Ecosystem function. In this particular case, we're interested in how resources are acquired and used. Can a mixture perform better? And to take that a step further, can we start to understand what are these mechanisms? And so we looked at combinations, in our case, bicultures, to simplify our question a little better so we can answer it, and how plants of very different physiology, very different water relationships can fare out in a mixture versus in a monoculture. That's about as much as I've got. Thanks.